Samsung went from 58% of foldable shipments to 23% in 1 year, a decline of 35%.
The Galaxy Z Fold 7.
Fold 7 launch has come and gone, but there are a few things neither they nor the reviewers told you. Looking at Samsung's extremely stagnant foldable track record ever since the Fold 2 in 2020, I had one question this year. Is the Fold 7 a generational leap over the Fold 6? Special edition? Nope. Fold 7 is dramatically thinner and lighter than the special edition. It features the Snapdragon chip that came out this year. That's about it in terms of the noticeable changes. Now you might be thinking Fold 6 special edition came out in 2024 only in China and Korea. Globally, people couldn't even buy it. Yes, but that proves Samsung had the engineering capacity, R&D, components, quality control, and everything else to make the device we have today last year. Sure, it's thinner and lighter, but in every other aspect, it's almost exactly the same. Both devices have same size inner and outer screens, 4400 mAh batteries, IP48 rating, same megapixel specifications, although Fold 7 reportedly have the newer sensors. The list goes on. Now I got that out of my system, we're gonna answer a few questions. Why did Samsung take out the S Pen? Why aren't they using the silicon carbon batteries? Why did the price go up? What should they do instead? And most importantly, should you buy it? Compared to the vanilla Fold 6, here are the changes. 1.4mm thinner unfolded, a whopping 3.2mm thinner folded. Well fucking done, Samsung. 24g lighter, 0.4-inch bigger inner screen, 0.2-inch bigger outer screen, Snapdragon 8 Elite, 200 megapixel main sensor, 10 megapixel inner camera which now features the punch hole. Compared to the Fold 6, this is a generational leap and the caliber of update we should get each year. Samsung deserves credit here, but I do want to point out, putting camera and chipset aside, if they hadn't given us the iterative upgrade every year, we could have had this exact same device back in 2022. So they are 3 years overdue on their dramatic upgrades, but we're finally here. One of the most dramatic changes is the inner screen camera. I've seen a lot of reviewers praising Samsung for bringing back the punch hole. No offense to these reviewers, but have you guys ever daily driven a foldable? Yeah, the camera is better, but we consume content, use productivity apps, and multitask on that giant screen for like 90% of the time and take photos what, like 10%? Not even. I daily drove Samsung's foldable for 2.5 years and I can count on one hand how many times have I used that inner screen camera and still have 4 fingers left. But we can finally use a mainstream phone that makes absolutely no compromises when folded. It's the thickness of a normal slab phone, but when you open it, it's a multitasker beast. Earlier this year, the Galaxy S25 Ultra's S Pen lost the beloved Bluetooth functionality. Samsung's reasoning was not a lot of people use it, so they ditched it. Now they ditched the S Pen entirely this iteration. I'm really pissed at this decision and I can't believe they would disrespect the Note series like this. To me, Note 9 was Samsung's peak and now they're just ditching features left and right. This philosophy has been apparent for half a decade, obviously. But guys, I love the fact that I can use Samsung DeX whenever I want and turn my phone into a full freaking computer. I love that if I got a device that can wirelessly charge, I can do it. Or whenever I want to jot something down, S Pen got me. Or whenever I want to test an app or secure something, I can use the secure folder. Do a lot of people use these features? Not even close. But I daily drive a Samsung device because of these features. I've been using my S25 Ultra for the last 6 months and I can count on my fingers how many times in total have I used the S Pen. If you're angry at the S Pen removal, you have every right to be. And this is the device where it makes sense. But do you guys actually use it? Or do you think you'll use it but never do? Majority of their user base are not tech enthusiasts and they don't use S Pen or the features I've just mentioned. So in a way, their decision makes some sense. For me, having all these features was part of the appeal. I would rather have something and not use it instead of not having it at all. It's sad to see Samsung lose that value proposition. Getting back to the actual phone, they removed the digitizer layer. And for what? Making the phone as thin as possible? I speak for everyone when I say you can sacrifice a tiny amount of thinness for the sake of S Pen and battery life. Hey, speaking of which, the next elephant in the room is made out of lithium, the 4400 mAh one. It has been 6 years and Samsung hasn't upgraded the battery capacity. When will they switch to silicon carbon batteries? I was gonna tear Samsung a new one for this, but there is something that Tech Chap mentioned in his impressions video, which I hadn't considered before. The regulations surrounding silicon carbon. The very first silicon carbon smartphone launched back in February 2023. We're talking about Honor Magic 5 Pro. Funny thing is, the 5450 mAh silicone battery was only limited to China. Global version got the inferior 5100 mAh lithium battery. Why? Well, as this article from 9 to 5 Google puts it, any smartphone that has more than 20 watt-hour battery cell must be classified as a dangerous good. That comes with additional caveats like shipping challenges, supply chain reforms, logistics management, and the list goes on. Interestingly, this only applies to the individual battery cells, so you can go beyond this limit and still be fine if you just use 2 or more battery cells. That's how OnePlus 13 with its 6000 mAh battery got around this rule, and foldables use the same strategy. So what's the problem here? To simply put, pure silicon batteries can expand up to 400%, and using carbon in conjunction does help. But the problem still persists. They can still expand after a few years of use. When you consider how recent the technology is, how little usage data we have, how few manufacturers are using it, the regulations, the longevity concerns, and the logistics concerns, it makes sense for big smartphone companies to be hesitant of this tech. Especially Samsung, whose name was cemented in biggest tech fails in the industry due to Note 7. The sale of silicon carbon batteries are mostly limited to some countries in Asia, but Samsung has the resources, research and development, patent capability to supercharge this process. I believe that not only you can set the norm here, you can also advocate for the standardization process. For those of you who think I'm being ridiculous, allow me to present to you the Galaxy Note launch and the backlash.
Bottom line, you're gonna look really dumb holding this up to your face.
I need to show you my new phone. New phone.
That is ridiculous.
Samsung has no idea what they're doing. This is like talking to a piece of toast.
People are actually calling this thing a phablet.
Skip over the Samsung Galaxy Note completely.
What's that in your hand?
It's the new Samsung Gemini Max Pad. This is iPhone 16 Pro.
This is the Samsung we remember, the Goliath that set the standards and proved the entire industry wrong. There is good news, however. Reportedly, Samsung is looking into this tech and hopefully it should roll out in future iterations. Bottom line is they could have made the device a tad bit thicker and given us a bigger LiPo battery. Where were we? I completely lost my train of thought. I think we were asking whether Fold 7 will save Samsung or not. Reports on the sales numbers actually vary depending on the time period and website you look at, but one thing's for sure, Fold 6 was either able to match Fold 5 sales or barely surpassed it. Samsung has been losing market share for the past few years. It's due to increased competition, iterative upgrades, huge price tag, and novelty factor wearing off. Despite of its shortcomings, I believe Fold 7 will be able to take a significant market share back from its competitors. In today's climate, iterative upgrades have become the norm, and unfortunately, I have to come to terms with that. So, given that standard, Fold 7 is a huge upgrade compared to its predecessor. Well done, Samsung. If you're using Fold 5 or above, don't upgrade. However, Fold 4 or below, definitely go for the Fold 7. I sold my Fold 4 earlier this year, and my 2.5 years I had it, I dropped it once, got the hinge replaced. 10 months later, it stopped unfolding all the way, all on its own. So I'm curious, anyone's got a Fold 4 or an earlier model? How'd you go? Let me know. Thanks for your support, guys. Please like and subscribe because...
Do we throw something other than rice?
Like what, sir? What would you throw other than rice?
I don't know. couscous, Skittles.
This is Rogue Hat. Catch you guys later.